Hey everyone, welcome to the eve of CPI inflation, which comes out at 5:30 a.m. tomorrow. That is in less than 12 hours. In fact, it's in about 10 hours and 45 minutes. So in this video, I'd like to talk about some reasons for optimism. And I figure there's nothing like being optimistic about inflation than, a glass of wine with a P on it. So cheers and good luck tomorrow because we need it. White wine. All right. So, what are some reasons to be optimistic about inflation? Well, we need some optimism in life, even more than the 60% off coupon code, the largest coupon code we've ever had before, because, well, there's just lots of pain. So, what do we got? Well, here is a chart that literally says underlying reasons for optimism on inflation. And I'm like, that belongs in this video. The chart of reasons to be bearish on inflation didn't make it into this video. Anyway, so truthfully, this chart is actually quite interesting. The New York Federal Reserve has a measure of underlying inflation, and it historically leads what CPI does. So you could see here on the far left, you kind of get a little bit of rise here before you get a rise. You get a rise here before you get a rise. And it's not 100% perfect. Like over here, I was noticing, I go, oh, you kind of had a little bit of a drop before you had the big drop, right? But underlying inflation collapsed over here. And then you see CPI kind of trend down with it, right? So, pretty decent a chart. In fact, you see here, which I think is the most interesting part, is that the white line is CPI and represents potentially a 6-month lag of inflation. When you look at underlying inflation, you actually see that it started to turn. So this is, I wouldn't call this the most perfect chart. I think there are definitely some flaws in it. But for a Bloomberg chart, and it looks well put together, it doesn't seem that bad. Look, I think that it's probably right in the fact that underlying inflation probably has peaked. Now, does that mean CPI will come down? Well, technically, it should. And that's because if we go back to the last time this was this high, we could do this thing called a spread analysis on this. And what you do is you look at where inflation is now and what underlying inflation is now. And that spread is about 2.2%. That's the largest difference between the two that we've seen since 2009. Now, it took CPI about 9 months to fall then. So probably not the greatest chart if we're really excited, and that's or really anxious. And that's that drop you see here on the left, where you saw the spreads widen between CPI and underlying, the blue line, and it took 9 months for it to actually bottom out. So some optimism, but probably not solely the best tool. Another reason for optimism is that usually break evens signal a peak, and then you get a subsequent drop in inflation 3 to 4 months after that. Well, we're kind of overdue. Like, we've had this massive drop over here that the massive drop ended over here between June and July. Well, if I'm even generous and I go July, which is month 7, and I add 3 to 4 months, that 3 months is October. That's the data we get tomorrow. And if you go for June, that's October for 4 months, right? So we should see this drop manifest ideally tomorrow. But we may not. That's just the weird thing about inflation. We just may not, who knows? Maybe this tick up we saw was the last inflation report, which was sort of the tick up. And this is sort of your 5-year break even, which usually precedes a change in actual inflation. So we'll see. Here's another one that's interesting, and this is sort of a third reason to be optimistic, not so pessimistic. So far we've got two reasons. We've got the underlying, and then we've got break evens. The third reason has to do with less pressure in the pipeline. Basically, look, there are these surveys that are conducted. They're generally called ISM surveys, and they're either on services or manufacturing prices. And basically, what they do is they go to like the purchasing managers at companies, and they're like, hey, how much are your input costs costing you? Are they costing you more, the same, or less than last month when we called you? And the managers respond, and they'll say, okay, well, it's actually costing us more money than it was last month. So you get a 1 rating. Oh, it's actually costing us the same. So you get a 50 basis point rating. Oh, it's costing us less. So you get a 0 rating. And then they do that with, hundreds of different managers, and they come together with this chart that basically averages it. And anytime you get a reading of under 50, you're deemed to be in recession. And you can see that the prices paid for manufacturing, not yet services, which we expected that goods inflation would collapse first, and then services inflation would collapse. Well, right on cue, you can actually see manufacturing prices paid under 50 here in the recessionary realm. And you also see that services is off peak. So both of these are off peak. So that's not bad. That's our third reason for bullishness on inflation. Now, obviously, we have to take before reason number 4. We got somebody here from Sweden listening at 3:41 a.m. I hope you're getting your sleep. If right now that's earlier than when I wake up. That's pretty early. Until diesel goes down, inflation will continue to rise, but nobody talks about it. Just regular fuel. Well, that's not true. In fact, I made a whole video dedicated to diesel like 2 weeks ago, and then other people started copying my Tucker Carlson clips because Tucker had like a pretty dramatic kind of intro, like, the world has 25 days of diesel left. But the thing is, CPI literally has a headline number that says CPI minus energy, right? Like, people are aware that energy costs are high. People are aware that diesel prices are high and there's a shortage. And in shortages, prices go up. That's how a free market economy works. But we have more than just a diesel problem. So cheers to having a lot of problems. Hey, you know what? I don't think there's a problem with having lots of problems. Nobody's perfect. And to think Biden would give tax credits for EVs. Hey, it's really helping prop up Tesla stock. So, number 4, reason for optimism. Number 4, reason for optimism. Rising mentions of lower input commodity raw material costs by management in guidance and conference calls. Now, it's important to know that this ends really like, it looks like September 30th. Maybe they have October in there. So you're really not getting the latest earnings calls. So I don't think this is like that last bar is really a complete representation. But I do think it's interesting that they draw this blue trend line, which seems like it totally ignores conveniently the far right chart, bar, I guess. But I don't know. They make the argument that basically management is complaining, management is more frequently talking about lower input costs via this, conveniently ignoring this part. But again, I think that could be because of when they actually measured the data. Okay. All right, for optimism, why not? Salute. That's right. Markets applied Kevin's Black Friday coupon code today. Jeez, man. I mean, I know it's a good coupon, and I mean, I'll take the compliment, but damn, I didn't want to cause pain. I'm sorry about that. I mean, I guess if I had to market the coupon code, I had to do what I had to do, All right, let's go to reason number 5. I will say, and I think this is important for everyone, I think that down markets are really a time for you to think about what can you do to just like work more hours and put more effort in. So, I mean, I've certainly been doing that. I mean, there's also more stuff going on, so it's easier to. But I'm just like, hey, look, I'm just gonna sit here all day long and I'm just gonna crank. And whether that's on phone calls, dealing with house hack or working on financial advisor stuff. Or it's making new lectures, right? For me, it's just like, what can I do to just try to provide more value? And so we've got a huge lecture dump coming out in a few weeks, which is really exciting. A lot of new content. I always love posting new content, like especially in the lectures. It's different than on YouTube. And we could talk like candidly, I feel like, here on the lives, but you make a YouTube video. It's like, it's gotta be like, oh yeah, people want to click on it, whereas like lectures, you could just focus on like just really good. And I think all the videos that I make on the YouTube channel are great, but with the lectures, it's like, hey, should you use an LLC or an S corp? Like that. How many views do you think my video would get on YouTube if I post that on YouTube? LLC or S corp, or Kevin's strategies for tax mitigation at year end, whatever. Like, I don't know. Those things don't do so well. Anyway, okay. Reason number 5 for potentially hopium on lower inflation. Dun, 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 dun. This says mentions of signing bonuses are off peak from last fall when they were a huge factor in retaining and hiring staff. Mentions remain elevated though. Yeah. So basically what they're saying is nobody needed to do signing bonuses over here because people were just thankful to be able to get a job. And now we're having to do less signing bonus talk in conference calls. And we're certainly off peak, which is beautiful, but we're definitely still at relatively high levels compared to where we were before the pandemic in 2017, 18, and 19. So, like, if we were at today's levels then, it'd be on the higher side, right? So that's interesting. It's nice to see this inflection point. I think that's reason number 5. I'm pretty sure that was reason number 5. Somebody here says don't drive. What do you mean? I got to get back home. Anyway, so reason number 6, single figure. I never understood why they call it single figure, but I'll just go with it. Commodity. Oh, because it's under 10% as opposed to double digit. I get it. See, look at that. If I weren't live, I would have just rolled right past that one. Yeah, what good are self-driving cars? Come on. Anyway, somebody wanted to know what we're drinking. This is some white wine, and it's got 13% alcohol, and I'm pretty sure it's less than $15. Now I got to ask Lauren. Hold on. Lauren. Oh, let's find out. Yo, how much the wine? All right. So, single figure commodity price inflation. It didn't last long, but base effects are beginning to have an impact. Okay, so a base effect is just a fancy way of saying when you compare to last year, your inflation looks like it's growing at a lower percentage. So right here is October of last year, and right here is October of this year. And as you can see, if I draw a line between the two, it's lower. Oh, here we go. Here comes our answer. I don't know exactly, but I don't spend more than $15. Probably 10. There you go. You gotta have a Lauren who doesn't spend lots of money on stuff that doesn't matter. Very important. Get yourself a Lauren. All right. So, commodity price inflation down. Great. And look, trend down. Very good. Longer term trend down. Wedge Down. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's good. All right. What's next? Oh, yeah. Okay. So those are all the reasons to be optimistic. However, you always have to add a little bit of pessimism, which I always like to offset by reminding you about the 60% off coupon code down below. It's the biggest coupon code we've ever had. And if you have any questions or you want a custom bundle or something that you don't see on the website, just email me at kevin@meetkevin.com. We'll take care of you. Anyway, so somebody has to, of course, put a chart out there that just has to put some negative spin on all these great charts that we've looked at, okay? Great freaking charts that we've looked at. And what do we have here? Bad news. And this is where they say if inflation comes in any higher month over month than 0.3 to 0.2, it's going to be above the Fed's inflation target. Now, this is where a lot of people say, well, the Fed just needs to suck it and raise their inflation target to like 3% as opposed to 2%. But, you know, lately I've been trying to tell Jerome Powell to suck it, and he just says, son, take the beating. These are the current targets for inflation. And as you can see, they're actually higher than what we've been used to, especially on a month-over-month basis, which I'm hoping is really wrong. My personal goal is that number comes in at 0.4, but my goals mean nothing. CPI year over year at 7.9. I think if we can meet that expectation and be under 8%, hey, why not? I'll take it. Yeah, so that's my presentation on inflation optimism. So cheers to that. If you have any questions, maybe I'll answer some. We did just see BTC recover from 15.5 to 16.2, which is kind of cool. I'm streaming CPI tomorrow at 5:30 a.m. You know what I can actually do, which is kind of cool, is I can schedule the CPI live stream now, and then you could hit the little remind button, which is cool. And even after this video, like when this video closes out, it should redirect you to the new one. It's very cool. So when I end this stream in like 2 minutes, you should get a redirect. And then you could click the little remind button. See, I'm trying to make these things like really easy for you. Election update. You know, it's a poop show. I think we've got a toss up on the Senate's gonna probably go Democrat. You know, they've got the 1-seat edge. And then as far as I think the big question is just the House, right? At this point, and you still have quite a few seats to go. So we'll see what happens. But it's been quite exhausting, and I think that's why there's been so much stress. I mean, Republicans are at 207, Democrats are 189 for the what's it called? For the House. You do have, and this is where the runoff could actually be really interesting. I mean, take a look at this for a moment here. This is, hold on a sec. There we go. You know, Republicans are at 49 seats. And I don't think, I think we still have, we still have Georgia not counted in that. So this is going to be really interesting because even if Republicans can get to 50 again, if they end up winning Georgia, that would be really interesting. Let's look at the races to watch here. Race. Oh, man, they're going to make me sign in again. All right. Well, I'll do that. Anyway. I don't know. What else we got while I look at this? Do I plan to run for governor again? Probably not until I'm like really old. It's people have like an age problem in politics, it seems. Unless you're like, I found it seems like really extreme. And I don't think I am. I think I'm pretty moderate and reasonable. But reasonable and young don't seem to work. Yeah. Trump can fix the economy again. I don't know, man. Did I buy BTC? I probably would consider buying BTC if Binance goes bankrupt. And then I want to see the bottom of that poop show, because that's just going to be so crazy when Binance goes bankrupt. I don't know that they will. I'm making a guess. But if they go BK, that's when you get some pain. Yeah. Okay, so the New York Times forecast is 224 Republicans for the House, 211 Democrats. They actually think the Senate is going to be a 50-50. So you're going to have gridlock. I mean, all you need is one of the chambers for gridlock. And then you have gridlock, which is what everybody wants in the stock market. I'm specifying again. That's what people want in the stock market. It's not necessarily what society wants, I would say Democrats. So I don't think Republicans expect to get much done over the next 2 years. Binance is 30 times the size of Coinbase. Exactly. That's why I think it will be you will have some glorious discounts if they go BK. Where things stand, Republicans were picking up seats and headed towards an expected House majority as of late Wednesday, but the Senate remained undecided amid signs the GOP gains were narrow and Democrats had fended off the midterm red wave many have anticipated. The results of Tuesday's election revealed voter anxiety. Blah, blah, blah. All right, so still waiting. Democrats flipped some seats. Republicans flipped some seats. Senate remained undecided. Democrats flipped a key seat in Pennsylvania, while Republicans held on to Ohio, Wisconsin, and Florida, but 3 remaining Senate races remained too close to call. Poll workers continued to count Arizona and Nevada, while the Georgia Secretary of State confirmed that neither candidate passed the 50-vote requirement. Really? We're waiting for Arizona and Nevada? Are those even close? I mean, they literally did say too close to call, so I suppose when they say it's too close to call, they mean it's too close to call. So that would be, whoa, the Republican is leading by 18,000 votes in Nevada. Wow, interesting. And then Mark Kelly is leading by 95,000 votes, and he's the Democrat. So, whoa, this is quite interesting. Say you get a Republican and a Democrat win here, that's going to put you at 4950. Oh, whoa. This could actually run down to this could be another Georgia runoff where there's some, Senate control comes down to Georgia again for the second time. That'd be so crazy. Oh, wow. That would be wild. That's entirely possible, but wow. Okay. Where was I reading more about this? Okay, yeah, here. Republicans need just 5 net seats to regain a majority in the House of Reps and end 2 years of Democratic control. Even if Republicans ultimately prevail, the strong Democratic performance in the face of President Biden's poor job approval ratings is remarkable. Yeah, that's a fair statement. Republicans headed into Tuesday night hoping to pick up more than 20 seats, but by Wednesday morning, it appeared that their majority, if won, would likely be much narrower. Yeah, probably instead of 20 seats, closer to 6. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy told supporters early Wednesday morning, "When you wake up, we will be in the majority and Nancy Pelosi will be in the minority." But that has not happened yet. It probably will happen. I think Nancy Pelosi's probably going to retire if she loses the Speaker of the House seat. So I don't know. We'll see. Senate's now split because of Kamala as a break even, blah, blah, blah. All right. Cool. So cheers to that. Just graduated with a finance degree. What should I do? I don't know. Why don't you just get a series license and see if anyone's hiring? The problem is a lot of banks are laying off right now. It's a really crap time to graduate. If you like BTC at 69, you'll love it at 6.9. That's a good one. Oh, man. Did Win report? Let me see here. Yeah, I think Win was today. Maybe intern for Meet Kevin. That's true. meetkevin.com/jobs. Yeah, Win did report. What'd they say? Win! Loss of 142.9 million. Operating revenue 544.4 mil. The estimate was 510. That's a beat on Las Vegas. Wow. Well, Las Vegas is happening. It's Macau that's screwed. Operating revenue 889.7. The estimate was 870 in Macau. COVID-related restrictions continue to negatively impact results. Macau were 40 mil revenues, decreased from 90. Wow. Just a complete collapse of Macau revenues. Q3 loss narrows, overall revenue falls. They missed on EPS. Revenue did beat by 20 million bucks. It seems a little mixed. I mean, I feel like the markets are already convinced that like Macau just sucks. Yeah, I mean the stock's flat after. I don't know when it reported though. Crypto Lifer wants to know if I'll come on your channel for an interview. You know, I go through these like bouts of wanting to do interviews, and now is not really that time. Especially since I was supposed to go to Florida tonight, but my flight got canceled because of Hurricane Nicole. And Lauren's like, yeah, that was my fault. I wanted to delay the flight. And her middle name is Nicole. So I'm like, freaking Hurricane Lauren here. I don't know. Anyway. Well, folks, I hope you appreciated the optimistic insight into inflation. You know, I wish I had lots more money to go buy stuff. Hey, I just joined. How do you think the market will react if CPI is better or worse than expected? You should watch my Fed video from earlier where I literally pull up JPM's expectations, and I think they're actually reasonable expectations. If I could pull it up right now, I would, but it seems to be relatively inconvenient for me to do that at the moment because I found it. You should still watch the video from earlier. But basically, 30% chance we go down 2 to 3% on the S&P 500 if we print above. 40% chance we match and the S&P actually goes higher on a match. I actually agree with JPM on this. I think we're coming in at 7.7 and 4. Okay, so put that on a Post-it note somewhere. Drink to that, okay? Drink to a miss. 4 on the month over month and 7.7 on the headline. I'm going to be there 5:30 in the morning tomorrow, and I'm going to scream. If you want to see me scream and squeal, come tomorrow at 5:30. Now, when I hit end on this, I'm flying to Florida, 4 a.m. today, Hollywood. Oh, shoot. That's awesome, dude. Hollywood. Yeah, I'm flying to Orlando. Although I have no idea when I'm actually going to fly there now because everything's messed up. Might end up being like Monday or something. Anyway. Yeah, so I'll see you all tomorrow at 5:30. Now, listen, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to end this live stream, and then you're going to get a little pop-up that shows the CPI live stream with the blue house hack background. Click that. Click the remind button, and I'll see you there. And if you miss the notification because you're sleeping like a weenie, that's okay. I'm jealous. Just watch it when you wake up. Goodbye, everyone.